big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Ticket Weeknights. Once again, here starts on the ones and twos, and we got the host, as always, DeMornay Pierson-El, joining in with me. And again, if you guys ever want to join the show, feel free to do so. As always, use the Starter Heyman text line. That's 402-464-5685. You can always chime in on these streams as well. That's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, Allo Channel 961. You can put a face to it that way. Always a great way to do so. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and bring him in. DeMornay Pierson-El, how's it going, man?
Hey, it's going well. Not too bad.
How was the Easter over the break?
It was good. You know, my daughter enjoyed finding eggs and whatnot. So, I mean, it was real nice.
Yeah, and, you know, you got any Easter traditions before we go ahead and dive in here into sports? That's something Pierson-El household you guys are always doing for every Easter.
Cooking and the Easter egg hunts gets, competitive. There might be, adult games for the egg hunt. But nothing too crazy.
What are the kids like when they're Easter egg? Are they pretty aggressive out there? Are they quick with it or no?
What? Oh,
it might be in the genes, man. That's all I'm saying.
It's a Royal Rumble. It from 6 years old to 18, it gets aggressive. It's a competition. Who can get the most? And no hard feelings. The little kids in the way, they get pushed over. I've seen it all.
Yeah, well, you know it too. If they got a Pierson-El on their name, probably a quicker one you got to watch out for. They're going to be grabbing those eggs a little bit faster than the person to the right or left. But let's go ahead and dive into it. And we just got to talk about it because they haven't been getting enough attention. Anyone who's out there, listening on the streams, Nebraska baseball is 20-5.
Yikes.
3-0 in the Big Ten, ranked 22 in the AP poll nationally. It started off early this year when they had that first road tournament down in Texas. They're playing some tough quality opponents. You see them still win over Vanderbilt, and you're kind of wondering, okay, what does this team have? And they continued kind of beat up on their non-con. But again, in that they had Baylor. That was the big one. They beat them 4-1. And then they played Texas Tech, another good team, lost 6-3. And then they played Oklahoma, lost 7-6. And from then on there, it has been win after win with one loss to Grand Canyon and one loss to South Alabama and one to Wichita State. Otherwise, that's it. Out of all their games outside of that beginning tournament, and to get to 22, they had Northwestern on March 29th. They beat them 5-2. Again, the next day, 9-5. March 31st, Northwestern trying to claw back just to get one. Couldn't get it done. Nebraska wins that one as well, 8-7. Their next game is tomorrow at Creighton. But I'll tell you what, this baseball team, can you remember a better start in Nebraska baseball? Because I got down here in 2018, and this is by far and away, this team looks incredible right now.
No, I know they won the Big Ten. I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago. They might have
won a couple of years ago. Yep.
Yeah. So no, I can't remember. Them starting off this hot and it's good early. But I mean, good for them. Maintain it. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, like you said, maintain it. They still got plenty of ball left, but just something to smile about since the spring's been delayed. It hasn't bothered the baseball team. You even see some videos. They're out there. I think it was a 34-degree day. They're out there playing baseball, still get the win. So again, shout out to those guys. It's been an awesome start to the season. And if you haven't gone to a home game yet, well, there's a reason why. These guys out of 25 games, they only got 5 losses, 3-0 in conference play. So if they got a conference member coming to Lincoln, definitely support them. And tomorrow it's at Creighton, not a long drive. Be great to see some Nebraska fans out there. But let's talk about some more Husker news. Jamarcus Lawrence, Nebraska basketball. We lose another one. He hits the portal. This one kind of surprised me. I thought Jamarcus Lawrence could be one of those corner piece guys to stay around, be part of that foundation. But he's gone too. How is this for Nebraska? Are you worried about it, or is it not too big of a concern?
Not too big of a concern. It stings a little bit, but I mean, you can't hold people where they don't want to be at. Again, they can opt in and opt right back out, so you never know.
Yeah, that's a good point. It surprises me. I hope he opts back in, but if he doesn't, wish him best of luck, because I say with all the athletes, and if you're one of those people that gets mad when players leave, you got to reassess it, unless it's something egregious they said on the way out the door. It's just part of college sports. But, he's a guy that really started to, I feel like, play some of his best basketball down late in the season. And I don't know if it's because he was coming off the bench. He doesn't seem that way. He took it, in post-game interviews. It didn't seem to really faze him at all. But I do wonder if he's just looking for more minutes out there. What do you think we need to do to kind of replace that gap then? Like, Jamarcus Lawrence was a guard who you could argue you want somebody with a little bit better playmaking skills, but he was playing a lot better down the stretch. And I really liked him because he was able to push the ball and pick up the pace when it felt like at times Nebraska would get slowed down. You could see Jamarcus Lawrence quick go downhill, get a layup, or find an open three to case somebody on the corner just by pushing the ball. What are we losing with Jamarcus Lawrence, and what do we need to kind of fill that void back?
You're losing somebody that kind of figured out how to create shots, whether if it's his own or, finding the next best person, regardless, of him coming off the bench and everything like that. That second five, he was managing and getting things that needed, when, some of the top people were off the floor. Not to say that he wasn't, a top person and whatnot. It's just a changeup. Jimmy Butler did it for a little bit. Well, Jimmy Butler did it on the Olympic team, actually. Lou Williams, did it and whatnot. James Harden did it early in his career. But just coming off the bench and being a spark. So it hurts because you can build off of that. The system, and you would expect his game to grow more or whatnot. And to replace that, kind of looking for the same type of spark. Someone who's not scared to get his own shot, who can get it, off the dribble, coming off of screens or behind the three. It didn't matter. We're making the right decisions to dish the ball to the right place.
Yeah, I'm curious. How is Bryce Williams' role getting involved? I don't know why I was forgetting his name on Brewington's show, but that's to me the big 3 players you got: Juwan Gary, Rink Mass, Bryce Williams. Those 3 guys coming back feel like your core. You definitely got some more depth there that you're happy to have come back. You don't want to forget about guys like Sam Hoiberg. But those 3 right there, I still think you need to find that 5. And then would Bryce Williams take more on of a playmaking role? Are you comfortable? Say they're unable to go grab, the next best point guard position out there. Because Bryce Williams, early on, I felt nervous about him breaking through some of those presses with turnover problems, but he figured it out, and then he even started attacking off it and played really good basketball. A guy like Bryce Williams, does he pick up the playmaking end, or do you still think, no, we need to get a true point in there to kind of set up and run the offense?
He's a huge piece to set things off of. I think you still go out and get a floor general to kind of set things up and push the tempo. That way he doesn't have to necessarily worry about that and do that. The transfer portal is huge. You don't have to necessarily go to another Power 5. there are good basketball players, at lower levels and everything like that. And, what's the guy that's with Alabama, number 2? He came from, South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
South Dakota, North Dakota, one of them, it don't matter. So you just need to find, the right person that fits your system. Nebraska, I feel like would be a nice destination. You got open pieces and missing pieces. So I think, we've showed with this last year and especially over the years that we can win, with the system and whatnot, with the coach and whatnot. He's put, people in the right place to, get to the league and everything like that. So who wouldn't want to come to, a spot like this and compete? We went deep into, the Big Ten championship and, we made it to the March Madness. It happened. It is what it is. But, with the right pieces and whatnot, who's to say that you can't, duplicate what you did last year or even better? So it sucks and it happens. But, the transfer portal is big. So, you can literally go out and pick, what you kind of want and need. And that's, the good out of the bad.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Again, I'd rather keep guys because I'm still old school. Not that I'm against the guys leaving, but I do think players, depending on there's going to be situations where it makes sense to move on. But there's certainly times where I'm like, man, a guy like Jamarcus Lawrence, I only could have seen his role getting bigger unless they do grab maybe some JUCO player, transfer player, because those JUCO guys, we know one thing for damn sure, they're tough. They don't give a damn who you are. They want that spot. And, that's why you see a lot of coaches have success with some of those JUCO guys because they come from such a gritty environment where if you're not about it, you wouldn't be playing JUCO to begin with. You just learn from plenty of the guys that have been around JUCO. But it does leave me to think that, there's guys are going to be moving on, but you have enough of the core there that I think some of these guys just want a better opportunity, maybe go star, get some more sunlight a little bit out there. Even if it's, mid-major conference, not a Power 5. We've seen it before where if you put up good numbers, I don't care who you're playing for. You could be playing for North Dakota. You put up good numbers, someone overseas, maybe even an NBA team's going to give you a workout. But you got to have some stats, something to point at. So again, who knows if he actually goes all the way through with it, if he does end up somewhere else. But yeah, I think Jamarcus Lawrence, he's on the way out. See what happens with Bryce Williams. I think it's going to be a big year for him on playmaking. Rank mass, it's consistency. And again, for a guy, like Rink Mass, it was just the consistency from me. And then Juwan Gary, I just want him to be more aggressive. With those 3 players right now, give me one thing that you want to see improvement in from all 3 of those guys with Bryce Williams, Rink Mass, and Juwan Gary. And you can throw another guy in there if you think, there is another key player that needs to be talked about.
It was a little different because, they were all coming from different places. And, Casey was kind of like here and he was kind of like, the glue to everything and kind of make things happen and whatnot. I just want to see them take the next step and dominate to where, they comfortable in the spotlight or, getting their own shots, which I think they are. But, it's going to be more required now that, the team looks different than the team will look different from this year. So, them just, taking the next step and, developing, okay, well, them being the ones that, are the go-to players or, to make things happen on offense and defense, which I know they can.
Yeah. It's the confidence too for me. There's times where, I don't know, with Rank Mass, part of it's the offense too. No one's going to take over and start taking a bunch of shots, which I respect that. They play to the Fred Hoiberg offense. You rarely see them take a bad shot. You could argue CJ Wilcher, Casey at times, but let's be real, those were heat check guys. If they felt it, they were going to let it fly and you would smile if it went in. So, but I do think, it's just confidence. Like, it still blows my mind that Rank Mass, he had plenty of great games, but at one point you see him dominate Zach Edey, who's heading to the Final Four, who's been the best player, who just put up 41 points. Whether you think it's because of free throws, the refs giving him all these calls, whatever, he's still putting up numbers and he's doing it to everybody. And Rank Mass dominated that guy pretty much the entire game. Second half wasn't as effective, but you'd still argue he played better in the second half than Edey did. And then to see him completely cool off, and just disappear at times, like, to me, that's a confidence thing. Where Nebraska basketball, I still don't truly know if they just think, when they got to March Madness, if the moment was too big for them, if they felt like Texas A&M's pressure was getting to them. But I still feel like they just didn't give their best shot out there. How much do you think this is now that Nebraska, quote unquote, has the confidence, they made it to the dance? Is that what it takes to move on? And you have to do it back-to-back years to hopefully we can hang our hat on a win?
I mean, it's there, that they played good enough. They knew as long as they would take care of business that they would be there. You just got to have, like a better showing. A&M, that was a tough team. It was a different type of style of ball, differently that they've seen in the Big Ten. I don't think nobody in the Big Ten plays anything close relatively like that at all. So, it was just a little overwhelming, trying to, kind of stop the bleeding. It really kind of like didn't happen. That's not, nothing against them, maybe, next season or whatnot, play more teams necessarily that, play that type of style or in that type of, in those conferences that have that way you understand and know how to, handle and can recover from things and whatnot. So I don't think it was a confidence thing. It was just, a different situation of them not being in it, and it looked differently, and all that their plans or what they wanted to do and changed and whatnot was different. And also, A&M just had probably their hottest night shooting in the tournament.
Definitely fair.
So it's you just call it, it was just their day that day. So I'm not even mad at Nebraska. It's just they could have shot it from half court, not even looking, and probably would have made it. So it was just one of those games. Like, it was just a perfect storm, and it just had to be us playing them.
That is facts, because you look at Wade Taylor the fourth, kind of talking about that perfect storm. He lights Nebraska up. Houston, I think he was like 1 for 6, 0 for 6 on his first.
He caught fire, the second half, and Houston, was biting their nails and everything like that. So Houston was used to that type of style. They were bigger, they bullied them and everything like that. Their bigs just got in trouble. So that's what I mean by saying, like, maybe get some more, athletic, big guys. They're 3 and 4 could push the ball, had, post moves, could, ISO and get to the bucket, and also had, a nice mid-range shot. So you get a couple of those guys and everything like that, you start to look a little different.
Yeah. I mean, Texas A&M, it felt like we're really just playing a bunch of Juwan Garys. Like, these guys are relentless coming to the rim. Like, you look at how Juwan Gary plays. Juwan Gary played like those Texas A&M players.
They all were tall. They all were athletic. They all were quick, aggressive, and fast. They had that more so than us, and they were just bigger than us. So they sped things up, and they were hitting stuff, and it got ugly quick. That's not to say that we couldn't keep up, because we did a fair job of it. Is just everything that they were throwing up, it just seemed like it was going in. So I'm not too mad at the showing and whatnot. They just had a heck of a day shooting. Like, it is what it is. That happens. Yeah,
that's fair, because if you're gonna build a team like Texas A&M, typically your trade-off is 3-point shooting. That was the case for Nebraska, and there is an argument that, again, why I'm so big on the 5, whoever's going to play along Rick Mast is by far and away the biggest thing to me, because you are probably the weakest there out of any of those Big Ten teams. Like, seriously, if Texas A&M got to pick a Big Ten team to play, we'd probably go Michigan number 1. Just obviously, you look at their record, but they're probably looking at Nebraska in that top 4, 3 teams even that they'd want to play, just because matchup wise, Nebraska's that one team in there that you look at their 5. Unless
they're undersized, honestly. That's what it is.
And it works well for Nebraska if Rink Mast, again, why it was so important against that Purdue game. If you can start off shooting the ball great, well, then it works. Then you can play your small ball, and you're going to have to make these bigs work
come out and guard you.
But unfortunately, we just had too many games where Rink Mast couldn't quite hit those first few shots, and without a true 5 either, it just kind of felt like the whole game plan around Rink Mast was falling apart. I mean, he's not the best rebounder. He's okay there, but certainly leaned on Josiah. Like, those two together kind of had to group together to help us get at least close on the rebounding battle, along with Juwan Gary. But we just need size. Like, we play in the Big Ten. I think you'd even find a way to win a lot of those road games. I think that's where a lot of deflation came from. You see these teams get offensive rebound after offensive rebound. And it just felt like a lot of it leaning on Rink Mass to be something that he entirely isn't. And you had Josiah Alec there too, but again, I think Josiah Alec just needed more development.
That's only a little bit better. Like he's an effort player. You know, they're still getting out rebounded. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with you completely.
Yeah, and we'll talk some more hoops on the other side here because obviously we got some college basketball going on. And as we're talking about the fives, there's Zach Edey, but there's DJ Burns as well. And I miss it. I miss old school 5 basketball. And I was telling Brewington, the day it died was when Zach Randolph on the Memphis Grizzlies got cut. That was the last true 5 in the NBA. Maybe DJ Burns, maybe a guy like Zach Edey. They get into the NBA, have a chance to have some old school 5s back in there. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and throw it to break, and we'll talk about those 2 players on the other side. This is the Don't Punt Hour with Demarnay Pierson-El, the host as always. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little bit.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with Integrated Behavioral Health Services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Gainett Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gainett Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gainett Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gainett Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainettTrucking.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Speaking maybe run. So like speed option, those things, all you want to do.
Speed, I can't see much.
It's also, look what you did. Look what you did. Look at Bill.
Down.
Come on now.
Calm down.
I don't say anything about semicolons or should there be a parentheses or
too many commas over there.
Too many, come on. Run-on sentences. Don't talk about that. It's not my wheelhouse.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
The Mill Coffee and Tea inside our 93.7 The Ticket studio is now open 7 days a week. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, you can enjoy burritos, cinnamon rolls, fresh brewed coffee, delicious tea, or even their coffee and cream ale. Sold exclusively at the Ticket Mill location. Open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the weekends, right here at 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, are about to hit the court. Mark your calendars for January 24th at 7 p.m. when we host the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Witness world-class talent, including national champions and Olympians. Don't wait. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. and become a part of history.
Who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association on the station.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. This is the Don't Punt Hour on the ones and twos. I'm Harrison Darnes as always, and we got DeMornay Pierson-El, the host as always, streaming in. And again, if you guys want to put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, Allo Channel 961, all great ways to do so. Starter Heyman text line, even though we are off on the airwaves, we got March Madness going on there. You guys can still join in using the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. And just a quick recap for any of those who are watching or listening, I should say, and don't have a chance to get in front of the TV. You want to watch girls basketball. Number 3, LSU Tigers lead the number 1 Iowa Hawkeyes, 47-45. Before we dive into there, though, I asked you about a couple guys before we went to break. DJ Burns of NC State, you could call him a Cinderella team, but a lot of people were high on them coming into it. And then, of course, Zach Edey, the guy who everyone's been worried about since the tournament started. Let's start with Zach Edey. This guy, what has impressed you about him in this run? Because I know you're big on UConn, but Purdue's been tearing teams apart as well. Got pretty close with Tennessee, but that's the first time they've really been challenged so far.
He's been, having his way on what he wanted to do. He's been dominant. So he hasn't fallen off or anything like that. I wouldn't say it's impressive, but I mean he's been doing good.
Zach Edey's run isn't impressive.
The last game he scored with like 40 points, like that was impressive. Like I'll give him that.
Yeah, I will say his I don't know if it was season or career. I want to say it might have even been career high was 35.
Mm-hmm.
You break that number. What makes him remarkable is obviously the double doubles that you're going to get guaranteed. The rebounding.
He's 7 foot. He should. That's easy.
But you're going to take that away from him because he's 7 foot. That is not impressive. To be 7 foot and coordinated.
Now if he getting triple doubles, like that would be something. If he getting rebounds and blocks, I'm like, okay, but I expect you to get a double double. You're 7'2". Like, come on now. Like, let's not be like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. Like, no. Like, you should be getting triple doubles. You should be having 10 blocks a game. You should be having over 10 rebounds, and you should have over 10 points. Like, that should be expected. So the fact that he's not consistent, and that just may be me being hard on him, but you're 7 foot. Like, do something spectacular.
I mean, yeah, I'm not with you there
I don't want to
entirely.
Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it.
The whole team runs through Zach Edey. If he has a bad game, they lose. And he hasn't had a bad game. I don't care for 7-4.
Exactly why triple double should be the standard.
All right. Well, I think let's just quick pull up the stats here for this season and just see where his numbers at. Just see if it actually changes your mind this season. So this season, he is averaging with Purdue. Actually, these are some bad stats here. Let me get some better ones. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, No, that's as in I don't trust the site. It was this one that came up a little shaky. Let me go to my sports reference. But let's talk about DJ Burns in the meantime. The NC State. You probably like his game a lot more than Zach Edey and a lot more footwork involved. What's impressive about him?
He a big boy that can move. He gets up and down the floor. His mid-range game, like I was like, I'm a little like he got mid-ranges. He got touch around the game. His game reminds me a lot of Zebo. He's physical and he punishes people. You gonna have your hands full all day with him. You better hope he has an off game. I know it's good. This next game is going to be a challenging game, but I like his chances. He gets things done regardless.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Did you see that he was getting offers? Like NFL scouts are interested in working with him. Does that surprise you at all? That after he's done with March Madness, they want to get this guy and just get some measurables on him.
No, because Mo Ali Cox, he went to VCU. I know him personally. He's from around my same area. Was dominant at VCU when VCU was making those runs to Elite Eights, Final Four. He was a part of those teams. Now he's an NFL tight end. So it does translate, and I'm pretty sure, I know Julius Peppers, he played at UNC as well, basketball. So, you have some people that have done it. It makes sense that the interest is there. He can be a guard or, a 3 tech or, on the offensive side or a center.
They're thinking tackle for him is apparently what they're seeing. A left tackle.
No.
Why? So just because the amount of weight you got to put on to be able to play that position in the NFL?
A left tackle, that's the highest paid offensive lineman. That's most right-handed quarterbacks blind side.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that hasn't necessarily done it or used to it, and that's where you want to put him. No. I feel like guard or center would be easier because you kind of get help on both sides. You're on an island with guys like Micah Parsons, and that's setting him up for failure. It's now you give him 2 or 3 years to get to that and everything like that. Okay, fine, but fresh out the gate, no. Put him at guard. No, absolutely not.
I just don't think he's athletic. I get what the intrigue is there. You see a guy with that footwork, you're like, okay, if he can get some size on him, he's definitely athletic enough, but guard, there's no way.
Guard.
There's no way.
Tackle, no. You can say right tackle, all right, maybe. I see tackle. I see guard or center, just the easiest transition. You got help on both sides. It's not as hard as tackle is. Tackle, you're on an island by yourself majority of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think. Well,
you get to see you talking about he getting ISO'd up against Bosa, Big Bosa or Little Bosa? No, sir. No, absolutely. That is a nightmare. No.
Does he have a shot in the NBA? Does he even need to consider the NFL? Does this path in the NBA, his style, because again, that's the important thing as we're talking about Zach Edey and his stats, if they change your mind at all, I'm having a feeling they won't. This season, 25 points per game. I'll give them to you real quick. 2.2 blocks, only 2 assists, averaging 13 rebounds, 5 of them being offensive rebounds, and a 71% free throw shooter, about a 50% field goal, or 62% field goal efficiency overall.
With the right team, I feel like it can be. I feel like the NBA wants guards wants their centers like Jokic out on the perimeter and everything like that. That's not necessarily his game. And his game, I think, will show up, late in the season to playoff runs. When you need a bucket to get some things in and whatnot. It can work. It just depends on, where does he go? Now, what team fits that type of situation on ball and everything like that? That I don't know. I have to we'll look into it and whatnot. Teams who I want to say Memphis, just off the top of my head, you give Ja somebody like that of pick and roll and everything like that can, spot up and get his shot or, bulldoze down there. Again, that's the same thing, as Zebo. But again, they also cut Zebo. So it could happen. I'm not sure where.
It's got to be fit. That's so much of the NBA. It's got to be the right fit for him. I think Mavericks would be fun. I think that's a team he'd have a chance with.
Good. I was thinking of there too. Him and Kyrie, that would be nice. Or him and Jokic, that again. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like he needs a good playmaker, someone who's going to be able to understand his athletic talents, his offensive talents, and be able to highlight that. Because otherwise, like if you're going to play that true five, are you better than Steven Adams? Are you better than Rudy Gobert? Like that's the test. Rudy Gobert and Steven Adams keep jobs, and they're those old school fives, but they are dominant.
They're dominant on the defensive side, so that's why that's that.
And then I don't know if that's where a guy like him, who, if you're going to play that true five, he's great on offense. Defense, he's good too in college. Like, don't get me wrong.
I mean, it's going to be hard getting past him. He's an athletic guy that moves his feet, so you're not necessarily going to get by him as quickly as you think. And even if you get close or whatnot, he's going to make you feel it.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah,
but he's and if you look at what he looked like when his freshman year with Tennessee before he transferred, like he was pretty skinny, and then he put on some weight. You might think it was going to be bad for him, but it turned him into an absolute monster. If he keeps putting on, good weight, which you could argue whether it is or not, but it certainly looks good. I mean, he's playing well. He looks strong. I mean, he plays a ton of minutes, doesn't ever look super out of gas. But yeah, he's just, I don't know how to feel about it. On offense, he'd have to really prove something, because I don't think he's going to be better than.
I would say second, third round, get him in there, see how he does in summer league, and go from there.
Who's got a better chance, him or Zach Edey?
I would say Edey, just because the game is going that way. Edey is somebody that can have 10 blocks in a game. He can be a Rudy Gobert. Like, he can be a defensive, menace, tall and lengthy, that teams will just, they're bigger, faster, taller. So he fits, the NBA mold more, and it's easier to plug him in any team, and he can just, rebounds and blocks. That'd be his game.
It does surprise me though. Edey only averaging 2.2 blocks.
That's terrible.
It's not right. Like, for a guy that big,
that's awful. That's sickening.
He's constantly around the rim. I get he wants to avoid foul trouble.
Sickening.
And maybe part of that is like his painter is just saying, don't even try for half of these blocks because we need to keep you in the game. If that's like him just being bad at it, that's concerning. If it's a game plan, which I'm still on the camp, I think it's a game plan. There's so many shots he doesn't even go for the block. The guy just goes right past him for the layup, and he'll kind of put his hands up, but I think he's just going for the presence of him being there, trying to throw it off, because there was countless times against the Volunteers where he wasn't even trying to like contest him at the rim. He was like, just take the 2 points so I can stay in this game. So I do think like the blocking, I don't know how much of that is his inability to block as much as him just completely avoiding a lot of those, not because he can't block it, but because what's the point? I might get it. We've seen how these Big Ten games have been officiated too. Even if it's a good, clean block, he still might get.
That's a fair point. It's still terrible.
I'd like to see 3 or 4 for being that tall. Like, his game, he'd have to be a Rudy Gobert. Like, I don't see any spot in the league for Zach Edey that isn't Rudy Gobert.
That's his ceiling, and he can probably he'll probably shoot the ball better.
He's only taking one. I mean, maybe he doesn't really.
I'm not talking about 3-point. I'm just talking about mid-range, mid-range stuff.
Yeah, probably do better there. Definitely a better free throw shooter than Gobert. But what bothers me about him and Gobert that drives me insane? It's like, how do you watch a guy like DJ Burns and not just appreciate the tape and pick up a couple things from it? I don't know how many times yesterday I saw Zach Edey going to a hook shot over a smaller defender and like fading out as he's taking the hook shot. You're that tall, you're that big, and that's your post move? A fading hook? What are you doing? Like, you just need better footwork, and you can get a wide open shot. If he had given, when you're that tall, it's harder to have that great of footwork. But he just, between him and Rudy Gobert.
I mean, you say that, but look at Joker.
Joker's got an arsenal of moves. Are you kidding me? Joker's got
but I'm saying, like, you're telling me like it's hard to necessarily develop ABC move. I'm not saying you got to be as good as that.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm not saying you got to be as good as that, but at least dominant to, okay, I got this. If not that, I got that.
Yeah.
Like, it's lackluster to say.
It's exactly that. It blows my mind. Like, again, Rudy Gobert, great defender, and like it shows when he's on that starting lineup, their defense is incredible. Their offense takes a hit, but because the defense is so good, you're okay with it. But it is incredibly frustrating to watch these incredibly athletic, big postmen and outside of, I always go on this because it drives me nuts watching them sometimes. Like outside of Jokic, Embiid, I'll give him his flowers.
Embiid is
Yeah, a great center. Even a guy like Zubac that nobody thinks of as a role player, but he's just got some simple moves. He does the hook like Edie. The only difference is,
so is Giannis a guard or a center?
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Oh man, I'm kind of one of those people. I'd prefer him at the 5, unless it's a fast break. I don't need him bringing the ball up. Like
I would say 4 or 5 for sure. I just wanted your opinion on that.
Yeah, I agree with. The only reason they have him bring the ball up is to see if there's any lane to just go downhill. But otherwise, he just passes. I mean, he plays such a weird role because he plays the guard position, but the only thing he's looking to do is drive off it.
That's it.
You're just sagging off him. Like
it's a mismatch for him to blow by people.
Yep. Yeah. So between Zach Edey, DJ Burns, those are kind of the 5s. Is there anybody in this group right now that's really catching your eyes that you're like, maybe this is kind of an NBA talent that we need
the UConn center? I can't even think of his name, but he gets buckets. He's active. He runs the floor up and down. He's active on defense, help defense and whatnot. And on the offensive side, like you put it anywhere in the rim, like he's getting a bucket. It doesn't matter. It's hard to stop him. He's physical. He's agile. I enjoy watching him play.
Yeah, that's a good pick. And before we go to break here, as we're kind of talking about UConn, I'm in the camp that I think Purdue is going to win it all, just simply for the fact that I think that's the one matchup against UConn.
Sick. You're sick.
Who do you got?
UConn is dismantling people. It's not even my 30. They beating teams average by 20.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, come on. Like it's who's UConn playing?
They got Bama. Roll Tide.
That's a good matchup. That because both of those teams are similar with running up and down the court. So it's interesting. That game actually makes me nervous because if UConn has an off night, they could get got.
Alabama is gonna run and run and run. You know that's coming.
UConn's gonna run too. So like they don't like it's gonna be an intensity pace game. Like whose intensity is gonna lack off first?
Well, this is where I think UConn wins it because I think UConn's better at playing at both speeds. I think they'll identify like Alabama is doing exactly what you're hoping for. They want to get us in a track race, not because we can't, but if we have a bad shooting night, that's their only chance. I think UConn's going to try to slow it down, make them play this half-court style, which against a team like Alabama who likes to speed it up, great. A team like Purdue who chose to slow it down against Tennessee because they figured that's their better bet, which it was. That's when it gets close and tight. I'm still riding with Purdue. I will say, for everyone listening out there, good morning, Pierson-El and me, we've been texting back and forth on who we think is going to win it. And I was big on Purdue. UConn is making me sweat.
You're mad with Purdue.
UConn is making me sweat like crazy. They look dangerous. But I'm still going with Purdue, just simply for the matchup. I think it's a bad matchup for UConn.
How?
Edey, the guy you don't like.
So
that's why you gotta watch the streams.
One guy is so dominant.
Their guard play has gotten way better too. You can't deny the guard's been playing way better basketball. It's not last
trash. You can't even name me 2 guards.
We got Dante out there. He's solid.
Dante what?
Not even
my point exactly. Like, all right, they're not. No, they gonna UConn will put the pressure on them guards, and man, they're gonna choke, and it's over for them. Okay, you get Edey. All right, even if he has a 30-point game, that ain't gonna win it alone. That UConn center gonna have 25. Edey not gonna stop him. He not athletic enough to keep up and move and shuffle his feet. Man, he gonna take his lunch money.
That's going to be the deciding factor because that's the only reason why Nebraska.
Even if UConn, even if UConn loses and they play Alabama, you telling me Edie's going to get out there and guard too?
I get more scared of.
That's worse.
Alabama would be a bad matchup for Purdue, or Purdue would be a bad matchup for Bama. Again, those teams that play super fast is great, but if you're not used to slowing it down, you run into Purdue. It typically spells trouble. You run into teams that like to slow it down, take their time when all you know is fast. That's why Kentucky wasn't early out this year. They just had a bad night, and that's all they do is run. And when things got to slow down, you give up 80 points a game too. Now, I'll give that to Alabama. Alabama's defense by far and away better than Kentucky's, but there's all two teams that like to run and gun, and when you go cold, it can be a nightmare of a situation. With that being said, we'll go to break. We'll have one more short segment on the other side. This is the morning Pierson-El, Harrison Arns on the Don't Punt Hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with Integrated Behavioral Health Services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Speaking maybe run. So like speed option, those things, all you want to do.
Speed. I can't see my speed.
It's also
look what you did. Look what you did. Look at Bill.
Down.
Come on
Just
now.
calm down.
I don't say anything about semicolons or should there be a parentheses or
too many commas over there.
Too many
Come
run-on sentences. Don't talk about that. It's not my wheelhouse.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
The Mill Coffee and Tea inside our 93.7 The Ticket studio is now open 7 days a week. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, you can enjoy burritos, cinnamon rolls, fresh brewed coffee, delicious tea, or even their coffee and cream ale. Sold exclusively at the Ticket Mill location. Open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the weekends, right here at 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, are about to hit the court. Mark your calendars for January 24th at 7 p.m. when we host the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Witness world-class talent, including national champions and Olympians. Don't wait. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. and become a part of history.
Who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. Last segment, we got a little bit of time here before we get the next show ready with Speed and Power. With the host, as always, Megan Walker. And again, last second comments, 402-464-5685. Streaming only, not over the airwaves, as we got LSU and Iowa. And oh man, this game's starting to get away a little bit. I just updated there in front of me. I thought it was 45-47, but I was leading it at half 58-45. I was picking LSU to go ahead and pull this one out. Angel Reese already been pretty dominant on the glass, but 58-45. Now let's just do a quick check, see where 31 points for Caitlin Clark already. Good morning, Pierson-El. Does LSU got a chance? I'm pulling this thing out. I just texted you and I kind of take it back as I'm looking at this box score.
I hate Iowa.
Yeah, me too.
I don't care. She's a phenomenal athlete. I still just don't like her school.
Yeah.
They gotta do something different. Because it seems Iowa is just running them out of the gym, up pacing them, and they're getting like a little sloppy. So I mean, they got I think another quarter or so. I think it might be. You said half, or is it in the third quarter?
I don't know what's going on.
I think it was the end of the third quarter. I think. So I mean, they got another quarter. They can still make a chance. They're not out of it. I mean, they're the remaining national champs, so it's can't count them out just yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust Google on this one. Google's flipping the score on me like crazy as I'm just keeping it on the side here. But Caitlin Clark with 31 points. Just an absolute performance. She's
in the third, 58-69.
58-69. Okay. So you're pretty much getting close to a 20-point game there. That's tough. Does it matter? Were either of these teams going to beat South Carolina? Did you see Indiana push them? Out of all the teams, I was so impressed by Indiana. The size and athleticism. It was like watching Nebraska and Texas A&M. It's like you guys just don't have the athleticism, but credit to Indiana girls team. They pushed them.
If Iowa beats LSU, they're going to run into the same problem that they did last year. They used all their gas up to beat one giant. So South Carolina, that's a different animal.
And they got some answers for Caitlin Clark too.
Most definitely.
Yep. They've got some stellar athletes and defenders on that team. I think it's going to be South Carolina unless they get caught up. But yeah, before we get out of here, Caitlin Clark, I don't know if you saw, she got offered to be part of the 3-on-3 instead of the WNBA.
The Ice Cube Big 3 League?
Yep. I think it was like $5 million was the offer.
She can't do both. She can do that for a year, and then
I think the contracts can't do both. You'd have to do one. If you were Caitlin Clark, would you take that offer? Would you be serious about it, or you just no? WNBA, eyes locked on there. I don't care about the 3-on-3.
It's different because like what I don't know what exactly the NBA money is. I know it ain't that. But she might get stuff from sponsorships and other stuff. So I mean, it's something to think about. I don't know the other side of what the WNBA stuff is, so I can't say that the 3-on-3 it would be better.
Yeah, to me, it's one of those things where she has such an opportunity and a name right now to like try to carve something into the WNBA. If I'm her, I'm going all in WNBA. She's got a voice. Angel Reese as well. I mean, there's a lot of really good college basketball players in the women's game, but I think you ride this into the WNBA, and you could hopefully be that generation to go ahead and start giving it some due attention. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap things up here. This has been the Don't Punt Hour with the host, as always, Pierson-El. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. Don't go anywhere. We got Speed and Power up next.